So appreciate your patience. My name is Erin Papa. I'm the director of the Coalition for a Multilingual Rhode Island. We do have an ASL interpreter here with us today. And so we are in Spotlight. That means if you're on Zoom, you'll want to put your Zoom in speaker view so that you can see the interpreter and the speakers. If there are questions that arise during the conference, please type them into the chat. And if we have time at the end, we will answer them. If not, we will try to get answers to you shortly thereafter. So today we have a long agenda, so hopefully we'll be able to fit all that in. I'm going to start with an overview of our coalition and our priorities. We'll have some remarks from elected officials, testimonials from students, teachers, parents, and community organizations, from Care New England, from Kids Count, and then from our national organizations, and then we will finish with a call to action. The Coalition for a Multilingual Rhode Island this is our third Multilingual Education Advocacy Day. The coalition was formed at our first one in 2019 at the State House. Since then, we've been having to improvise and do this sort of online. So we are a coalition of organizations and community members that are dedicated to creating a culturally sustaining educational environment where all Rhode Island students learn in multiple languages from pre-K to college. So some of what we're trying to do is to really expand multilingual opportunities across the state and create a diverse coalition of advocates, policy leaders, and to empower parents and students, families on bilingual education options. So we just finished a series with PLE, Providence Promise, and Latino Policy Institute with multilingual parents, and we plan to do a few more of those as things move forward. We have a diverse group of organizations, school-based programs, higher ed programs that are part of the coalition, representing a diversity of languages and cultural groups in Rhode Island. And so this year we have a comprehensive set of legislation that we are supporting that we feel would really help us to create an environment in which we could really expand multilingual education opportunities for all students. The first is the World Language and Dual Language Immersion Act. This would create a position at Rhode to help lead and coordinate these efforts, and a dual language program fund. There's also the Dual Language Immersion Model Policy and Timeline that would require Rhode to provide more guidance to districts and a more comprehensive plan on how to expand these programs across the state. We're supporting the Education Equity and Property Tax Relief Act that would put English learners into the funding formula, which would ensure a more adequate, sustained, and predictable funding for multilingual programs. We have a bill related to the seal of biliteracy that would award college credit for students who graduate high school and earn the seal. Another bill that would require higher ed institutions to create more advanced concurrent enrollment courses in world languages that would be appropriate for those heritage learners, native speakers, and dual language learners in our schools whose languages have historically been marginalized in our educational system. And we're supporting also the Increasing Opportunities for Teachers of Color Act, because one of the great needs is that we need more teachers of color and also multilingual teachers to be able to expand these multilingual programs throughout the state. And there's also a bill on the certification of teachers of English learners or multilingual learners that would help to ensure that more teachers are getting certified more quickly. And then we have a few ways for you to sign up and take action, which I will revisit later on in the day. So I wanted to right now move to sharing Secretary Gorbea's message.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nelly Gorbea, your Secretary of State, and I'm here today to voice my support for a multilingual Rhode Island. Buenos días a todos. Soy Nelly Gorbea, su Secretaria de Estado, Estoy aquí para dar mi apoyo al propósito de convertir a Rhode Island en el primer estado verdaderamente multilingüe. I grew up in a multilingual home in Puerto Rico, and I'm raising my 3 daughters in a multilingual home today. Exposure to other languages and cultures at a young age helps us to understand other points of view and opens us up to new conversations with neighbors and members of our community. I see these benefits every day as I push to make government work for all Rhode Islanders. Our best public policy decisions come when we have a variety of backgrounds and perspectives around the policymaking table. That's why I'm such a strong supporter of expanding opportunities for all Rhode Island students to learn multiple languages from pre-K through college and creating a culturally sustaining environment in our schools. Thank you to the Coalition for a Multilingual Rhode Island for a chance to voice my support for your legislative agenda. And to Senate Labor Chair Chacon, Senate Education Chair Cano, Senator Quesada, Chair Williams, Representative Diaz, Representative Morales, and Representative Vaya. Thank you all for working to build a stronger, more diverse Rhode Island. We are truly stronger together. Let's stay safe, everyone.
So thank you. I'll now turn it over to our legislative partners. Senator Chacon, I think will kick us off, and then we'll have Representative Diaz, Senator Cano, and Representative Morales and Senator Quesada joining. So we'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, Erin. How's everyone?
Doing well.
Okay.
We're gonna change the spotlighting to you, or we're not seeing you.
Yeah, if I leave it on, if my battery runs down fast, then I'll probably knock off.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Communicating thoughts and ideas is very essential in our society today. Learning another language is important in today's global society. We in Rhode Island need to prepare our students to become global citizens, college and career ready. That's why I've introduced this bill over several years with the help of Erin. What this bill essentially is creating is it's asking the Rhode Island Department of Elementary and Secondary Education to establish a dual language fund and a position of world language and dual language immersion so that the department has a person that is in charge. Right now, I believe we have several districts that are involved in dual language, but they're running their own little district-wide program, but it's not coordinated district to district. This would require the Department of Education to allocate $200,000 per year to this program, of which some of it would go to the districts and some would be allocated for a person in charge of it. Now, somebody might say $200,000 is a lot of money. In the $1 million budgets that the Department of Education has, it's only a drop in the bucket. So once again, this bill is before our General Assembly, and hopefully this year, based on the distance learning that we've been involved with because of the pandemic, our legislators will come to the conclusion that helping our students be better prepared to go out in the world and be able to speak more than English is essential for our Rhode Islanders. So, Erin, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Senator Chacon. Representative Diaz or Senator Cano, I'm not sure who would like to go next.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today. I feel in great company, and I'm very excited about the World Language and Dual Language Immersion Act, House Bill 5239. Before I offer my remarks, I would like to thank to Senator Frank Chacon and the Senate for partnering for many years to pass this important bill legislation. And also to my good friend, Senator Chairwoman Sandra, who is diligently working so hard to make sure children have a great opportunity. And my gratitude is extended to Senator Quesada, who also advocated for this bill for many years, to Secretary Nelly Gorbea, who know at the personal level the importance of speaking more than one language, to my new energetic, amazing state rep, Baby Morales, who brought a lot of energy and enthusiasm to this great opportunity, and my good colleague, amazing woman, Representative Williams, who's also joined us today. In case I'm missing somebody, my apologies. And all of you who are humble heroes working so hard behind the scene to pushing and helping us to make sure this legislation pass. And to you, Erin, for your patience, your persistence, your advocacy, and for all the great things you do. We know the dual language immersion, as most of you, what we know, is a method of instruction that promotes the student full proficiency in all aspects of English and another language. BLI programs educate students using both English and another language for academic instruction and may divide the day by language of instruction. And I witnessed that in one of my local schools in my district. We all know about the unique challenge facing English language learners. They range from students who had formal education in their home country to students with little to no experience with literacy or numeracy in any language. Too often, these students fail to achieve the same level of academic success as their peers. They're less likely to achieve in school and less likely to graduate and enroll in college. It is a time to close the gap. And I know with those legislators that I mentioned, we will be able this year, Erin. It is not just those who are learning the language that we need to focus on. Dual language learners require teachers to have a specific knowledge, training, and a skill in English language acquisition, assessment, and intervention, along with fluent bilingual abilities in speaking, listening, reading, and writing. I have long advocated for our investment in early childhood learning, and you know that my role with the child care. I have made that my number one priority in my years in the House. During the last several years, many research studies have shown the major benefit that come from early language learning, as well as the long-term educational and career benefits that are enjoyed by multilingual students. Research has also found an important connection between dual language immersion programs and academic success. Regardless of a student's native language, we looking to have this opportunity for any classroom, any students to achieve a great educational opportunity. I'm so happy that the bill addressed the needs of funding with $200,000 per year to have somebody to running, implementing, and working in curriculum that we help other students in the state. We foresee that this program will not only um, event the playing field for English learners, but help them excel in language, arts, and become bilingual. This is a educational game changer, and we all are responsible to make sure that pass this year in the House and the Senate. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so happy to work with you for this important legislation.
Muchas gracias, Representative.
Gracias a ustedes. Estoy feliz.
Senator Cano.
Buenos días y gracias, representante Díaz. Buenos días a todos. Good morning, everybody. I'm really happy to be with all of you today. I just want to make sure that I give a shout out to the legislators that are with us today. But most importantly, I want to give credit to Senator Chicon and Senator Quesada that before I came to the Senate, they had been champions of this package of multilingual Rhode Island. So because of leaders than them that allowed me to work with them, we are able to continue moving forward this type of legislation. So I just want to make sure that I highlight them. Well, as our society continues to change and become more interconnected and diverse, the need for our children to learn more than one language is becoming increasingly apparent. And through these educational initiatives that we all support, our children will have the ability to communicate clearly and effectively with those who come from different backgrounds and situations, allowing compassion and empathy to flourish in the interactions our children will share with each other as they continue their educations and throughout their adult lives. I can see that as I am a proud representative of Pawtucket, we do have dual language programs in our district, and I can see how rich they are and how that helps our students. I'm originally from Colombia, and I am very blessed to have been able to learn English as coming to this country, which allowed me to communicate not only in my native language of Spanish, but also in English. The data is clear in that children who are exposed to more than one language in the schools reap enormous educational benefits and impose them to greater success later in life. Our children and their futures deserve the opportunity to experience and learn more multilingual instruction. And I am grateful that we have so many advocates here today fighting to make sure that our children receive this crucial educational opportunity. I thank you all for your hard work and your continued support to provide our children with the skills and knowledge that they need in order to be successful in our diverse and inclusive society, and will not rest until this novel dream becomes a reality. We definitely need a multilingual Rhode Island now. We are diverse, and all Rhode Island students deserve this opportunity. So thank you to the Coalition of Multilingual Rhode Island. We are building this state together, and it will become stronger because we are diverse and we're highlighting the diversity that we have. So thank you so much. I hope that you have a great day. Muchas gracias y vamos a continuar trabajando juntos.
Muchas gracias. Senator Quesada?
Well, it's good sometimes to be last because I can. I don't want to repeat what everybody been saying already. Hola todo el mundo, buenos días. I'm very happy to be here today and be able to talk about these bills. Since I've been in the Senate, it's one of the legislation that I love to work for because.
Sound is okay. Representative Morales, maybe pick it up from there.
Yeah, of course. Well, good morning, everyone, and buenos dias. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you, and I just want to thank you all again because your presence in this virtual space and your level of advocacy does make a difference. Because as we're going to discuss today, it is so important that we advocate and support our multilingual learners, multilingual education. And one of the most effective ways that we can do that and ensure that these investments are being made is completing the processes to make sure that there's a pathway for our multilingual learners to have a pathway to higher education. Because when we invest in multilingual education, we're investing in the socioeconomic future in our state. As Senator Cano alluded to, this affects our economy. This affects the quality of life in our communities. And this is why I'm personally proud to be introducing 2 bills focused on providing our multilingual high school students with college credit through the completion of an accelerated concurrent enrollment course or the recognition of our state's biliteracy seal. After all, when we provide our scholars with the opportunities to pursue college credit before they enter higher education, they're more likely to stay enrolled in college, earn higher grades, experience less college debt, which I'm sure a lot of us can relate to, and ultimately graduate within 4 to 5 years. And as a multilingual learner myself, who had the opportunity to enter higher education with some college credit before I actually started my formal higher education, I was able to graduate with a bachelor's at age 19 and receive a master's at age 20. So I know from firsthand experience the impact that these bills are going to have on our youth. And as we know, these investments to multilingual education does matter. And by being here today in this space, as a collective unit, as a collective team, our communities are making our message heard. And we are being clear. As a state, we need to invest in multilingual education through the various bills that we've presented on today. And we cannot afford to wait because our youth and students deserve these opportunities, and so do all our families. So thank you again, all of you, for being here with us.
Thank you all so much. I was going to share a video of some testimonials from students and teachers, but we're running a little bit behind schedule. So I think what we'll do now is ask Fernanda and Andrew Poyant, who are parents of dual language learner, to share their testimonial, and then we'll move on with our agenda. And if there's time at the end, I'll play that video. So thank you all so much, and we'll just switch around the spotlighting.
Papa,
yes.
I don't think Senator Quesada finished.
Oh, yes.
You want to give it a minute?
Senator Quesada, you're back. I see you now. If you want to just say, oh, you're muted. No. Senator Quesada, you're muted. Oops.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm on my phone.
No problem.
It's hard when you're on the phone. Anybody decide to call you in the middle of the meeting. I want to thank so many colleagues this morning that they are joining us in this meeting, like my friend Representative Diaz, Senator Cano, Chair Cano, and Senator Chicon, who been the champion on this for many years, and I'm very happy to be able to work with them in this bill. Some of the bills, like Representative Morales, I'm very happy about that bill. Try to get, I think it's a way to motivate some speaking language, some children who speak already the language, to be able to get some college grade. I think that would be wonderful to be able to do that for them. I think it's a great opportunity to motivate. And I said as a mother, I had 3 children. It was so important for me, for my children to be able to speak Spanish when they were growing up. And I think that's one of the reasons that my English is not better, because if I speak only English at home, I would be speaking very language. But I will.
Oh, she dropped off. Oh, I guess we lost her again, but that was a great point. That it's so important to maintain those home languages at home. And hopefully that's where the trajectory will continue on from here. So I think we will transition now and welcome Fernanda and Andrew to give their testimony as parents. And we'll come back to the legislators a little bit later.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Bom dia. So my name is Fernanda. I'm a parent of a child that is enrolled in a dual language program here in Rhode Island, in Pataqué. So, you know, I'm a native from Brazil, and growing up in my home country, learning a second language is very much encouraged. And I feel like we live in this globalized world, and we should really normalize that kids should learn a second language. And I think that not only helps, you know, kids connect with their heritage and their culture. You know, I want my kids to visit my home country and be able to speak Portuguese to their relatives. But we know that it helps the kids enrolled in these programs with their attention span. There are studies that show that kids that are enrolled in these programs, they have more engagement with the school and the learning, therefore they have better grades. It teaches them empathy, it teaches them about others and understanding cultural differences. And overall, it's just really good for their brain development. So I really think that Rhode Island should be moving towards making bilingual education accessible to all children. So like I said, our daughter, she attends bilingual Portuguese charter school in Pataque, but it's only one school in the whole state, so there is there's a wait list. It's a lottery. Not all kids are able to, not all families that are interested that are able to participate. So with this legislation, we'll be able to increase the availability of these programs. And so just thanking everybody for doing this work. I think it's very important as a stakeholder in the matter. I really want everybody to, in our state, to learn a different language, had it be Spanish, Portuguese, whatever the community need is for. And even that right now, the school only goes until elementary school. So we're looking to expand to high school and, like you guys were saying, college, and getting that advanced knowledge in the second language.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Poyant. While my background is in environmental science, I also studied Portuguese. Being able to speak another language has helped me in many ways, including being able to better understand scientific words, which often have similar roots to Portuguese. It also has allowed me to connect with many people that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. And it was tremendously helpful when I studied the ecosystems in Brazil. Dual language programs are important for our family because it improves our children's fluency and will provide future opportunities for them. When our oldest child started her dual language program classes, we noticed she was more confident and excited to speak Portuguese with us and with other family members. Whereas prior to starting her classes, she was, while she understood Portuguese, she was self-conscious and didn't want to answer in Portuguese. As a member of the community design team to help create the turnaround plan for Providence Public Schools, we analyzed data for Providence Public School District and found that the Leventon Dual Language School, Providence's first dual language elementary school, had math scores that were near the top of all Providence Public School elementary schools for both native English speakers and English language learners. And we also found that when looking at the English scores, the native English language learner, the native English speaking students were scoring at similar scores to the highest elementary schools, and English language learners scored higher than any of the other elementary schools in the district. This data reflects the national studies that have been done on dual language programs, and dual language programs treat knowing a second language as an asset that you continue to improve upon, as opposed to a problem that we need to help the student with in order to just learn English. It is great to see that Providence Public School District is expanding to have a dual language Spanish middle school. I would like to see a concerted effort by the state to expand dual language programs opportunities in our public schools from pre-K all the way to 12, and to meet the demands of the students throughout the state in as many languages that there is a need for. Thank you.
Obrigada. Thank you both so much. Now we will have Jackie Agustin from Progreso Latino and Eileen from Women's Refugee Care, who will share from the community perspective. Both are working with immigrant and refugee communities. So, Jackie?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Jacqueline Epstein, and I'm the new Policy Director for Progreso Latino, which is a community-based organization located in Central Falls. So a big part of our mission is to help our Latino and immigrant communities to achieve greater self-sufficiency and socioeconomic progress. So we provide transformational programs for personal growth and social change, and a big bulk of that is working with people whose second language is English. So we try to provide as much of a bicultural, bilingual environment as possible. And that extends from our preschool all the way to our elderly. So we have, for example, a bilingual, bicultural curriculum for our pre-K and our school-age children. So it's just very important to have that in our organization, just because that makes it representative of the people who live around us. So it's very important to have that. And I think that should also extend to like our schools. So I think it's very important to have those educational opportunities for our students and our youth. And the people we would serve would really benefit from having these multilingual, bilingual education opportunities, and just knowing that they have a strength in being bilingual or multilingual. Like, that's really powerful. And for example, like our youth, right now we have, like, for example, EP classes. Those help some students, select students, to get ahead in education plans, save some money on classes they would otherwise need to pay for. But it's really important to make those kinds of opportunities accessible for all students. Everyone should have the ability to access education in different languages and to be able to make the most out of their education or their bilingual or multilingual ability. We live in a multilingual world now, especially in this country, and that's a part of what makes us unique. So it's really important to prepare our students to be successful in that world. And also the resources and the support provided by Rhode Island should become more proportional to those of us that call Rhode Island home. So not only will legislative support students who are already bilingual or multilingual, it'll also support all of the children, all of the youth of Rhode Island. They will benefit from a more diverse education. So I really urge our legislators to continue supporting all of these bills that are really pushing for more educational opportunities in bilingual and multilingual education. So I really want to thank the coalition for their continued support, and especially Erin for her work. That's really spot on, very organized. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, just keep on doing the good work, and it's really, really important for this legislation to pass. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Eileen?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be part of this coalition and to be part of this meeting today. My name is Aline Binyungu. I'm originally from the Congo in Central Africa, and I work as an executive director and co-founder of Women's Refugee Care. We assist the refugees from Africa, especially from 3 countries: the Congo, where I am from myself, Rwanda, and Burundi. Our main languages are Swahili in the Congo and French. So we speak more than 2 languages. And some of the kids speak the language from where they were born in different refugee camps. The background of those children is heavy and full of trauma before they came to the US. So you will understand that the lack of communication, the lack of English is making them more vulnerable when they are here. So I will really support the coalition, and I was dreaming to find a space one day to express this big issue and challenge. So myself, the way I learned French, which was my 3rd language, because I have my ethnic language, my parents' language. So I learned French from elementary school, little by little, from the middle school, then the high school, it was only French. And the university, French. I grown up in the Congo. I did my professional life over there. It was easy because we went with our native language plus the language from the colony, the Belgium. We were colonized by the Belgium. Yeah, and it's a big issue. Our kids are not like focused. They don't feel like they can succeed because of the English. It takes years for somebody to speak a new language. Myself, until today, I'm 7 years in the US. I always try to find my words. I always Google to try to understand what I want to say, what I want to do in a new language, which is English. So I really thank Erin, Papa, and all the coalition, and I will please ask the legislator to please sign this bill because the US is diverse, which is making it stronger. We need our voice to be heard too. I'm speaking on behalf of those Swahili-speaking children who are around 500 or 600 students in schools, because our mission is for them to reach their self-sufficiency. So and the education is the best gift ever we can give to our children because they are our future. So please try to see how we can have their languages a little bit inserted in the education in Providence, especially when we work where we are working in public schools, and see people want to drop. The parents, they don't speak the language. The children, they don't understand. This is extremely important. When I do home visits, this time, you will find the children, they are doing games instead of being in school learning because they don't understand anything. They don't know English. And it's so heartbreaking. They are not making it. Yeah, so we are very worried about the success of our children. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eileen. We will now welcome Sandra Victorino, who is Director of Workforce Development, Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Relations at CARE New England.
Hi, good morning, buenos dias. So I'm also a bilingual Spanish bicultural licensed mental health therapist in the state. So for me, a multilingual education in Rhode Island is desperately needed. So I speak from a workforce and a provider perspective. I see the lack of investment and sustainable practices firsthand. We have a lack of resources within our healthcare systems. Investing in a multilingual education in Rhode Island is one way to assist with decreasing healthcare disparities, along with increasing cultural awareness within fellow professionals. As a first-generation heritage learner, I needed all the confidence to move forward into higher education, and I also needed to learn how to belong in both worlds. It helped me be proud of my Mexican Latinx background, and I connected with my parents in a way I would never been able to. Also having a respect for the culture that I think without the language skills, I wouldn't have been able to connect. I was able to graduate high school with college credits, and I was able to understand and appreciate my uniqueness. I have a degree in Spanish and in psychology, and it's made the world of difference for me. I understand, I can read it, I can practice with my father, I can do things that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So I encourage the ongoing support, and thank you, Erin, for all your work and bringing me on. I really appreciate being in this space.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for adding that perspective. Now we'll welcome Paige Clausius-Parks from Rhode Island Kids Count to share more of the data supporting our campaign.
Great, thanks, Erin, and hopefully you're able to see my screen that I'm sharing there. All right, great. So thanks so much for the invitation to present some data today. I'm Paige Clausius-Parks, Senior Policy Analyst at Rhode Island Kids Count. So let's go through the information here. So in this data, you will see supports much of and connects to the really important life experiences you heard about during this press conference. So let's look at who our multilingual learners are. So in the 2018-2019 school year in Rhode Island, multilingual learners were 10% of total students, and 39% of multilingual students in Rhode Island were in grades preschool through grade 3. The number of multilingual learners in Rhode Island has nearly doubled, increased by 93% from the 2010 school year to the 2018-19 school year. In that same school year, multilingual students in Rhode Island spoke 95 different languages. 80% spoke Spanish, 5% spoke a Creole language, 2% spoke Portuguese, 2% spoke Arabic, 1% spoke Chinese, and 10% spoke another or multiple languages. Being multilingual is associated with increased economic and social opportunities, and it also improves executive functioning skills that contribute to academic success. So it is very clear that being multilingual and our multilingual students and families are an incredible asset to all of Rhode Island. However, I'm going to show you some more slides, some data that shows that we have a lot of work to do to better serve these students. And I want to be clear that this data is not about deficiencies or something wrong with multilingual students. Instead, this data is showing us the indicators of the work that we need to do to improve our education system so that these wonderful assets, the cultural heritage of our students, are seen as an asset, and that these students are able to be engaged in rigorous academic instruction that is provided by high quality and highly qualified educators. So we'll start looking at some educator data. So educators of color benefit all students, especially multilingual educators of color. Students of color demonstrate long-term academic achievement, including higher reading and math test scores, decreased likelihood of dropping out of high school, increased likelihood of going to college, increased social and emotional development in classes with diverse educators, including multilingual educators of color. In October of 2018, 3%, which is about 381 of Rhode Island's public school classroom teachers and instructional coordinators held an active bilingual, dual language, or English to speakers of other languages certification. So if we look at grade level reading, so educators and researchers have long recognized the importance of achieving reading proficiency by the end of 3rd grade. Students who do not meet this milestone will struggle later in life with reading and are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. So in Rhode Island in 2019, only 20% of our 3rd graders who were multilingual learners met expectations in the RICAS ELA exam, compared to 52% of non-multilingual learners. Also in this same year, only 11% of our multilingual 3rd graders achieved proficiency in math, compared to 40% of non-multilingual learners. So in Rhode Island, students in kindergarten through 3rd grade are more likely to be a multilingual learner compared to older students. In the 18-19 school year, 13% of all children in grades K through 3 were multilingual learners. Of the 1,267 kindergartners who were multilingual learners, 46% were enrolled in Providence Public Schools. 18% were in one of the other core cities, which is Central Falls, Pawtucket, or Woonsocket, and 15% were in public charter schools. So we talked a lot about dual language programs. So language learning is most effective and efficient during the early childhood years, between birth and about age 8. When provided with high quality learning opportunities, young children learn languages faster and with more competence than older children and adults. Highly qualified bilingual education starting in the early grades or in preschool effectively promotes English language acquisition and proficiency while also building proficiency in a child's native language. Dual language programs can significantly improve English reading proficiency, increase likelihood of going to college, and improve economic outcomes for multilingual learners. So during the 2018-19 school year, there were bilingual and two-way dual language programs in Central Falls, Pawtucket, Providence, and South Kingston school districts, and the Rhode Island School for the Deaf and the International Charter School. So we look at advanced coursework. Many students, especially multilingual learners, face barriers to college and enrollment and success. Improving access and exposure to advanced coursework, including AP courses and concurrent enrollment, can help address these barriers. And so although Rhode Island has seen tremendous growth in college and career readiness opportunities, there continues to be gaps in both college credit earned by high school students by language status. So in Rhode Island, in the class of 2018, 9% of all students were multilingual learners. In the same class, 24% of students, just over 2,500 students, participated in an concurrent enrollment course. However, only 3% of those students who took concurrent enrollment were multilingual learners. And then lastly, look at our high school graduation rates. So in Rhode Island, adults without a high school diploma are more likely to be unemployed and have lower median incomes compared to adults that have a high school degree. The Rhode Island four-year high school graduation rate for the class of 2019 was 84%. However, as you'll see in this chart, the graduation rate for multilingual learners was only 69%. The four-year high school dropout rate for the class of 2019 was highest among our multilingual learners. So in conclusion, our multilingual learners and their families are an incredible asset to our state. And Rhode Island Kids Count strongly supports investments needed to increase students' access to high-quality multilingual educators, to dual language programs, and to advanced coursework. We're really excited to be testifying tonight in the House Finance Committee. We'll be back again for the House Education Committee, and then we'll be back again when those bills are heard in the Senate, and we hope that you all will join us. Thank you so much for this opportunity to the Coalition and Aaron. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you so much, Paige, for sharing all that data to help support our work. And I'd like to now welcome Howie Berman and Amanda Seawald from our national organizations. Howie is the Executive Director of Actful, the Professional Organization of Language Educators, and Amanda is the President of the Joint National Committee on Languages and National Council on Languages and International Studies. I think I got it right. It's a long acronym.
Thank you so much, Erin.
Thanks,
We're thrilled to be here.
For having us. Thank you. I think Amanda's going to bring up a quick slide. As Aaron said, I'm Howie Berman. I'm the Executive Director of Actful. We're a 14,000 member organization made up of pre-K through 20 language educators across the U.S. and around the globe. Our mission is to provide vision, leadership, and support for quality teaching and learning of languages. I do want to thank Aaron and the Coalition for their phenomenal work that they have done in Rhode Island, ensuring that multilingual opportunities in the state are really not only maintained, but expanded. You know, I love hearing the testimonials from parents and community leaders so that we know firsthand the life-changing effects dual language and world language programs are having on our learners in Rhode Island. And while I recognize that school districts are facing several challenges today, now is the time for our decision makers to be bold and consider forward-thinking policies that positively affect the future of Rhode Island students, their families, and local communities. And one of the ways we can do that is by establishing clear priorities at the state level with defined leadership focused on world language and dual language. And that's why legislation like the World Language and Dual Language Immersion Act, for example, is so critical. So Rhode can get that critical funding for world language and dual language immersion specialists at the state level to provide technical assistance, oversee data collection, program pilot implementation, staff development, and so much more. Amanda.
Thank you, Howie. And also I want to echo what Howie said. Erin, just incredible work here. I just need to say that as an advocate myself for so many years here in the state of New Jersey, I want to thank you for what you're doing, because what all of you as legislators in Rhode Island are doing is setting a model for every other state. And at JNCL Nicholas, we focus on language policy advocacy. We are a group of a national network of a coalition of organizations, institutes, and companies that are all focused on language, and over 300,000 members in total. And that's really all of us focused on language. And the work that you're doing here in Rhode Island, which is also close to my heart because my mother's entire family is from Rhode Island, so I grew up being there a lot. So seeing what Rhode Island is doing to lead on this is so meaningful. And I just want to continue with what Howie was talking about, because the legislation that you're proposing also will provide that overarching coordination that is so necessary to get state seal of biliteracy programs to truly be able to grow the quality programs that they need to have in order for students to achieve and be recognized. And when I say that, what I can say is that statewide programs for the seal of biliteracy that have that oversight, that have that consistency, often help our programs across the state develop better quality programs in world language education and dual language education. It kind of forces the issue. It really makes everyone reflect and improve what their instruction looks like. It's also an essential way to increase a way to recognize the asset of multilingualism, as the incredible parents discussed, in your students, really giving them that feeling of pride as they move forward in their learning. And the next thing is that this also enhances educational models. And I think that your legislation to provide opportunities for changing certification, for improving certification, for growing opportunities for all teachers also has an impact on the way that these educational models can grow and develop to meet the needs of multilingual students and heritage speakers. I have seen firsthand as a dual language educator myself, and when I started my career, and as well as working with programs in other states, the impact on heritage learners as well as multilingual learners across every district when they're involved in a dual language program from an early age. When I see the way that their faces light up at the understanding that they can function in both languages simultaneously or at different times, whatever the content is, this is really what is incredible, is the ability to go from one language to another and use it in a meaningful way. And that's really what dual language education is about. It's not about exiting out at all. It is the opposite. It's about simultaneous literacy development into more than one language. So then also just want to talk about how this helps us define that K through 12 articulation for world language and dual language programs, meaning that the pathway is clear and consistent. And one of the challenges that many states face or many programs face when the state doesn't support it the way that Rhode Island is looking to support dual language programs and world language programs is that it doesn't maintain that articulation and doesn't grow a pathway that provides all students an equitable opportunity to learn. What the legislation, all of the legislation that you're proposing will allow for that to grow, will allow for this concept of articulation where the students start when they're young and they grow with the language, whether it's in a world language program or a dual language program, will provide them with the skills that they need and the experiences that they need to maintain that biliteracy, which of course I know Howie's going to talk in a minute about why that is so important. So I just want to thank you, and I want to thank you for inviting us here, and turn it over to Howie to talk a little bit more about how doing this in a global economy is the most important thing we can do.
Thanks, Amanda. So as Amanda said, I just want to finish by saying that, by passing this bold agenda put forth by the coalition, I think the state has a fantastic opportunity to engage learners in experiences that will build lifelong skills that prepare them to compete in the global economy. In 2019, Actful released a report called Making Languages Our Business, Addressing Foreign Language Demand Among U.S.-Based Employers. And I'll put a link to it in the chat. That report, which surveyed 1,200 U.S.-based small, medium, and large employers across multiple sectors in this country, revealed an urgent and growing demand for language skills in the workplace. In fact, about 9 out of 10 of those businesses that we surveyed said they rely on employees with language skills other than English. And more than half of them said that they expected that demand to increase over the next 5 years. Language skills, it's clear, translate to jobs. That means jobs in Rhode Island. That means jobs across the United States. So I asked the legislators of Rhode Island, don't you want to do everything in your power to ensure that the students in this state are equipped with the skills that they need to take on this growing challenge? And don't you want Rhode Island to benefit economically from what employees with these language skills can do for your state? I hope the answer to those questions is a resounding yes. So thank you again for having us. Thank you to the coalition. And thank you, Rhode Island. You're a model, and we really love seeing what you're doing in the state. So thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you both so much for being here. I'm kind of grateful that we are doing this virtually so that we can have you. We don't need to have all that travel time in between. That was really a great way to kind of wrap up our event today. And I wanted to invite the legislators back to kind of wrap us up and give a call to action before we leave. I know we're a little bit over time, so I appreciate all of you for hanging on just a couple more minutes. And I will also put into the chat ways in which folks can get involved.
Yeah, well, hello, everyone. As we close, I just want to, again, cannot overestimate how important your advocacy is. Every time parents show up, every time our youth shows up, engaged community members show up to support these types of bills, to support these types of investments, that is how we build the grassroots support to ensure that when we're developing the state budget, when we're passing the state budget, when we're passing bills, that multilingual education is at the forefront as one of our academic priorities in order to ensure that all of our students, all of our families, and our youth have the opportunities for socioeconomic mobility. So just thank you all again, because this is one of many first steps.
I just want to echo what Representative Morales said and all my colleagues. I just think that the time is now. We are a very diverse state, and we need to make sure that your call to action is heard. And I want to make sure that you know that we are here to do this work together. This coalition has been tremendously in making sure that your priorities are in the front line of what we need to take in consideration as legislators. So I just want to say thank you for that. Muchísimas gracias. Let's continue the advocacy together. And I think this is the year to do it. So let's make sure that we continue raising the awareness and the advocacy that you're doing today. We'll continue to do it throughout the session with hearings, making sure you contact your legislators and making sure you let us know how we can be of help. So thank you. Gracias.
And for me, Erin, and every single advocate in this group, it's a personal thing in my life. I'm the first generation. I have my kids who are bilingual and my grandkids who are bilingual too. And it's a matter of acting proactive, because as the census in 2021, we reflect that the diverse community is growing. As well, the community is growing, the needs of that community also is bigger. So this is the time to act. This is the time to working together. And for the viewers, understand that you can be active part in this process by sending postcards, sending email, participating. Be sure that you understand the process and you are part of the process. We are here advocating for children, but at the same time advocating for our future, better future. United States is not able to compete with other countries because we concentrate in one language, while the world is advancing and is spreading opportunity through different language. We are behind. So it's the time to act. It's the time to be involved. Don't think it's only our responsibility here. It's your responsibility. Get involved and participate. And please be sure that your state representative and senator also supporting those bills. So thank you.
Muchas gracias. Senator Bell, I noticed that you joined in and wanted to thank you for being here as well. And if you wanted to just
Yeah, well, thank you guys for all the important work that you've been doing, and I want to strongly echo comments of Chairwoman Cano and Representatives Morales and Diaz. And we need to make this the year when we get it done. These are such important investments in the future of education in our state, and I really hope we can. This will be the year. It's long overdue. And this is such an important set of initiatives that we need to get done. There's a lot more work to do to invest in multilingual learning, but these initiatives are so important. We can do them this year. I really hope we do them, and I'm really optimistic. So that's what I wanted to say. And thank you all for all the hard work you do. And you guys are awesome, and our students desperately need these initiatives.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Bell. Thank you, Representative Diaz, and Representative Morales, and Chair Cano for being here. And I think Senator Chacon is still there on his phone, so thank you as well. Oh, there you are.
I'm still here.
All right.
I think we had a good press conference. I'm a little displeased with the commissioner not having someone from her office come and speak to us today. I think our legislators have the ability that if the Department of Education is not willing to allocate the funds necessary, the $200,000, that we can take care of that in the legislation as the budget comes out for that department. This is the beginning. There's more to do, and we'll continue fighting the fight. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Chacon. And thank you all so much again for being here today. I've posted in the chat a few ways that you can take action and get involved. We have a letter writing campaign set up, so there's an easy link. For all of these things, if you go to multilingualri.org, you will find a way to write to your legislators, to join our coalition, and to sign up to get notifications from us. So thank you so much. We hope to see many of you at the House Finance Committee meeting tonight and House Education tomorrow, and we'll keep you informed as to next steps. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.